Welcome everybody to Friday Night at the Crib. We're in middle of Utopia. We're going to talk a little bit about the raid strategies, and what people think they're going to do moving forward once they win their millions in prizes. So let's start with introducing everybody from left to right. Senior Tito.
Hi everybody.
Father George.
Good evening.
Dr. Death.
Hello.
Two Doors.
Science.
And nines. Okay, very good. George has muted it. And this is Hefe as usual. But I guess, no, now they're muting each other. Okay, all right, enough of that. All right, how's everybody's raid doing? I know it sounds like we have a couple of different approaches between people hitting the 107s to nines hitting the 74s, and I'm hitting the 73s. So anybody want to start on what their approach is and how they're finding the raid?
I'm hitting A sets and hundreds. I'll probably start trying 107 tonight once I understand and internalize the steps in the video involved. I'm at about 70 million right now, and my total want list has gone down from 330 to 210, so I'm all en route for that. It's not too difficult. The demo squad's really helping me out with my cannoneers. Sometimes it's a shot less and killing a turret, and that matters a lot. But I'm still getting the issues where stacking is wrong, it's awkward turning, it splits up a fleet on a wall, and I got legitimately stuck on a wall. Not I screwed up and drove into a wall, except I did, but it wouldn't like get out of that wall. I was legitimately stuck and died. And that's 8 hours with an officer and half repair time. Thanks,
Yeah.
Kicks.
I think you got the 80 million on just A sets.
70, and not just A sets and hundreds. I think it's about a 50-50 split now.
That's not bad at all. Good.
No.
That's actually really good. I think that you know, we keep on saying how the targets are punitive and stuff, and the more I think about it, especially looking at the icebreaker, I don't think it's the targets that are punitive in nature. I think it's the damn hulls themselves, because like the new icebreaker is 3 fucking hours to repair, right? Blank.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what the hell?
I don't.
Why can't they ever give us a whole?
Kickstarter's
For
been
me,
slowly
the
but
main-
surely. Kickstarter's been slowly but surely increasing the repair times on our PVE tech, and it's getting to a point where it's just getting absolutely ridiculous again.
Thankfully, and Brian's actually here, so he can actually do the math again. But thankfully, on the icebreaker, you don't really need that. If you have 4 or 5 of them, you don't need that much rank in order to
Yeah,
get max.
I think it's like 52
Yeah, but
or
is
something
that
like
the
that.
solution? Because
Yeah.
for me the main problem is that they bring what they call a skillful raid, but actually the servers are not ready, or they cannot cope with the skillful, because most of the times what they call the skill target is a target that if you make a mistake, you pay quite high. If you don't make mistakes, you can do for free. But the problem is that I think that over 50% of our mistakes are not our own mistake. It's just some sort of bug.
Right, but that's why
You
I think
click on a target and your ships doesn't move ahead. Your ships get stuck into pillars that you have already destroyed. You kill targets and your ships don't go to those targets after that. So, and in a target that is likely a timer, what you are playing against, if your ships don't answer to each of the clicks you are doing, I'm sorry, but I think XI need to change the servers or change the damage on them, because the damage we are taking is not fair because
Right,
half of the time it's not our mistake.
But that's why I'm saying that the nature of the hulls themselves are punitive in nature because of the armor. Because if it was, look, if the fleet died and it's only a coin to repair, no one's going to give 2 shits, right? It'll be easy to rank them. It'll be easy to run through. You die a couple of times, okay, great, you got lag, whoopee. But when it's 14 coins, if you got an SOS and you died, that's a huge difference.
and that's one reason why I'm not trying anything bigger in 74s, because I know with lag, if I take a shot or two, I'm not going to lose a ship. That I can pretty much bounce back to it.
Oh, grow a pair and try it out.
Well, no, here's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
Here's what I've noticed this rate, and I'm not. I haven't been able to pin down what's causing it. Okay, I can sit there and hit freaking 20 107s in a row and not have a single leg issue. My fleets stay together perfectly. They run perfectly. Everything else, but if I try and hit the 100s, I got to refresh after every single 100, and every time I go into a 100, I'm experiencing lag.
I can tell you exactly what it is, man, because I found this in the last one, and I actually had a video sent into Kixeye. You know, on the top and the bottom when you trigger that secondary like barbed wire wall.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you go in, watch what happens when that comes up, and watch the lag and how crappy your response is in the 100.
Didn't you actually have a trick in not getting that lag?
Yeah, I went and triggered them initially at the beginning, and I haven't tried it yet.
I play zoomed out, but not full screen. But I like move my reticle showing the area that I see on screen down, so I don't see the platforms come up even though they're triggered. You keep it off screen to reduce lag.
Yeah,
I have to use like
that's
awesome games done quick speed run strats to play this 5-year-old Flash game because their servers are not ready for this. Like,
hey,
what the actual fuck?
At least you're not using one foot to press the arrow keys as you're driving.
Are you using one foot to press the arrow keys as you're driving?
No, I'm just saying it hasn't got that complicated yet.
I mean, I think people have pressed buttons with their chin in speedruns before, but I don't ever think they've done it with their feet.
No, all I know is the 107s run smooth. If you got a decent internet, you can run the 107s run smooth. I mean, I have yet to take damage or lose a fleet in a 107. I've hit so many of them, it's not funny, and I'm not even getting a scratch on my ships when I do a 107. But if I go into a 100, I can think of at least 10 different 100s that I've hit that the lag has just caused my fleet to lose control, and the next thing I know, I get hit by that center turret, and that's it. There went my whole fleet, 16 coins.
Yeah, that's the main issue I'm having in this raid with the 100s. The 107, once you figure the path, sometimes you get your ships getting blocked, but I think it has been 2 or 3 times. But in the 100s, it's impossible. It's nearly impossible. I have to wait till there is nobody in the server, so I can play with less lag. So it's a matter of their servers. It's not a matter of my computer or my connection. And when everybody complain about the same, I think that they should just fix it. I know that we say always that it's a business, but the other part is that this rate is quite boring after a while, especially for all the many targets you have to hit just to get the normal prices. We are not talking about catching up or getting everything, but just to get something. And I don't know. As I said, I know it's a business, but I should remind them that it's a business that is based on creating games, and games are supposed to be fun. And I'm sorry, this is not fun.
Yeah,
well, I know
we're all
I'm already burnt out. Yeah.
We're a day into a 6-day raid, and a lot of us are just like, no.
Well, I mean, okay. So getting back to the original question after a little bit of a side bitch session there, I was enjoying the raid yesterday, right? Hit a bunch of 100s and 107s and prepped a whole bunch, and today I didn't play for most of the day already. I mean, I'm at 102 million or 110 million, and I don't want to look at another. Like I can keep on probably doing 107s. Those are actually kind of fun because you're actually engaged the whole time. The 100s, man, with that lag and it's just they're not a fun target.
No.
But I'm a little bit burnt out already. You know, my target for myself was like 650 million, which is a huge. I mean, that is an unheard of amount of points.
Oh, that's right.
For someone to get all the stuff.
Right?
I saw people with that within 18 minutes, man.
That's not what I'm saying, dude. People can get it. That's not the fucking question. It's the amount of points for someone to get what they want out of the raid. And I understand it's a superstore, but look, I got most of that crap already. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a real dilution of the points because everybody was used to, certain ratios like 1 gold per whatever, however million points or whatever. But those points are now worth a quarter of what they were in the last raid. Before your goal was like 30 million, and then let's get some tokens or whatnot.
But okay, fellas, let me throw out my tinfoil hat theory here. KXI has heard the player base that we say that 1 gold per million points is an acceptable ratio, and they've decided that if they get enough prizes piled in there for us to need 650 million points, then every player is going to give them 650 gold.
Well, look, we really need. I mean, let's face it. If you're a top end PvE player, okay, you want to have the new hull and all the new armors. So we're talking 320 million?
Yep.
Which is unheard of. That is it's manipulated inflation, okay, of the points. It's points inflation, which has happened in the past, just much slower of a progression.
And for an armor that right now is not even working.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know what's going on with that. But the thing is I really I love the idea of the superstore, right? I absolutely adore the idea. But if you're going to do it, you can't come out and have a base of like 320 million that your top players want to get. Just be caught up with the game, right?
Honestly,
and we're not even getting the top haul at this point, which is the more annoying part about it, because
honestly,
we don't know what's coming. We don't know. Everybody is getting this haul out of ignorance and fear.
They're getting that out of conditioning. We're conditioned to get the stuff.
Yeah, if you don't, because see, here's the problem. If we don't get it, and for whatever reason, Kickside delays releasing the top end hole, then if we don't get this and build this fleet, we're screwed next raid. But on the flip side of that coin, we get this fleet, we get it built, and then, Thursday after the raid's over, they drop a TLC on us with the top end hole. And that means all the heavy coiners, all your top end players have already got one fleet built for the raid, and then they're going to turn around and need to build the best fleet for the raid so that they can be on top in the next raid. And that's just wrong. I'm sorry. Kickside needs to provide us with information, because I don't want to sit there and throw out all my freaking coins to build this fleet and then in 2 days have another fleet that I've got to build.
Well, and the other issue is even if they release it the week after the raid, you're not going to be able to rank that hull. So basically, you're going to be forced to use the icebreaker in the first raid cycle and then rank up whatever you want and built in the TLC after that.
No, I think what they're going to do. I think
because they're
going to release the TLC Thursday. The raid ends on Wednesday. The TLC
crazy. Just put the TLC next week, and we don't know because these people don't have any sort of info later on. They took away the work in progress. But
that's my tinfoil hat. They know that all the top end coiners will coin the top fleet, and they know that VXP weekend is a reason to have that fleet out. So they're going to drop that TLC on Thursday, knowing that the top coiners are going to spend their money to do the TLC, all of it on Thursday night, so that Friday when VXP weekend starts, they've got a fleet on the water to rank. That's what I think Kicksai's plan is.
So we're somewhat accusing them of not telling us what's happening going forward, but I'm again going to make the accusation that they don't know what they're doing going forward. See also the Empyrean, which is not really a generalist because it's meant to be a backline mortar chucker, except the generalist was supposed to be, the kind of do everything fleet, except not really, because that the Zealous doesn't fit in with what they're wanting to push for in the garrison. The new weapons and specials for this new generalist hull take about the same amount of time, perhaps a little less than normal, to put on. So the new generalist stuff saves a few days in build time over the icebreaker, but it's probably going to be a lot less effective. In addition to that, think about what happened last month when they started bringing out these rival bloodthirst series, how they had the crammed in with the FM crammed in with, I think, something else and VXP weekend for the Conqueror hulls. And then If they're doing one every 2 weeks, we're on track to have another one. And if we wait until the week after the raid, we're losing all those build tokens because we can't store them. So that's almost 12 days of build tokens that we're losing. And that's assuming we save our FM tokens until after the raid is done, before we start the new FM cycle. And if they release it the week after the raid, there's no VXP weekend. So if you want to get the best of the best hull, your skill and strategy are irrelevant. You would need to be able to coin to get it into any sort of reasonable shape. Because as we've seen, they're pretty stingy with the VXP they give in these. And tier 6 needs 100,000 to get to Skull. And we're going to need 4 of them, or maybe 3 in a flagship. And we don't have build tokens because we had to use them all up during the raid. And at that point, we'd only have 2 weeks left. At that point, I don't know why I would play the game if I'm consistently told that my skill as a player is completely irrelevant. All I do is win the hull, and by the time I would get them done, the raid cycle's over. What's the point in that? There's none.
Well, that's one of the that's a big thing to consider, and a 15-day. It's about 15 days for a typical icebreaker build. So if you're thinking 5 or 4 plus a flagship, that'll probably be 30 days. I mean, you're looking at 90 days just for that, not counting tokens, because tokens were supposed to be used for something else, not keeping up. And it's only a 3-month cycle. I mean, I don't know. I think it would be really bad. It would be a very, very bad idea for the new hull, for the skill hull to come out next week. That would be an exceptionally bad move. That would be a bad move.
It's going to make a lot of players mad, George. But that my tinfoil hat is just going. My tinfoil is vibrating.
The only way that would be good. The only way that they could pull that off without pissing off everybody that's cranking out fucking 600 million points is if they came out with build tokens for it and VXP tokens for it when it came out, so you could have them out and ranked.
And not a 25k fucking VXP token. An actual build token that if it comes out after VXP weekend, that we can actually have them fucking scald up.
I'm more concerned about the build token, because if they do the same thing that they did with the icebreaker, you might not need them skulled. That's the catch. We don't know. There are ways around that without having to have them skulled.
All right,
if you want to design it that way.
There's also the point that the Empyrean, damage-wise, does better than Citadels without the flagship. That's a tier 5 generalist that outperforms the tier 5 specialist hull, which is stupid. You literally said you weren't going to do that, and 3 months later you've done that. Someone is responsible for these decisions, and they need to be fired. They need to stop making decisions because they're wrong.
And it's faster. It's a faster hull too. I mean, that's another aspect. That's another dimension.
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
that's fantastic.
Oh, that's not.
But Brian,
Hi.
Brian, you mentioned that the Empyrean is better than the Citadel. You're not saying it does more damage?
It does.
Jeff, your mic's all jacked up, dude.
If
you're starting to sound like Mickey Mouse.
If they're both skulled, it'll do like a little bit more damage, but that's because of the auras the Empyrean itself has. And this is Citadels without the Harlock Citadel. So the Harlock Citadel should do better, all things being equal. But if you don't have it, then the Generalist is better. And that should never happen.
Although this is faster, it'll keep up with your Zealous tank, and you can throw on res cap for these and res battery for your Zealous tank. I don't know why people keep on insisting on using the res cap on the Zealous tank when you're talking about these builds. Res battery, more resistance.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what, 20, 30, 40,
it's
50
a tank.
plus? It's 50% or 50%.
And
it's 20
stack, and I think the
20 plus
stack
10 plus
bonus. I think the stack bonus is higher as well for defense. You can
Now,
get it up.
quick question for you guys. Last fucking haul raid, we all said on here, and we were complaining about being 90 million for this to get everything we needed to be ready for this coming raid, because Cannoneer, Zoe's Vendetta, it's without weapons and special.
Did I complain about that?
Well, besides you never complain, it seems.
Now we complained, but I think the bigger complaint was the fact that they didn't release the weapon in special.
That was the I think that was my beef. I don't.
And it-
I think
and
the price for a premium hull I can understand. Like this one's not the premium hull. I have an issue with it being this expensive. If it was at like 50 million, a month early, then yeah, maybe. I got no problem getting the secondary hull first, so long as the price is reflective of its position.
And I have one more question for you guys. The next raid, the next raid cycle, not this coming one, the next one after is Assault.
I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to go back and see what the cycle was.
Well, I was just going to say, I would almost suspect another generalist. Because this one has mortar remote targeting. We're going to need, if it goes by what we saw in Assault, we're going to need missile retargeting.
Apollos have made that not a factor, but I understand. I'm scared that you're right. Basically, I want you to be wrong.
Yeah, because
but you're probably
because honestly, this opinion is just a sort of grabbing from Kickside because they just put on the generalist special the remote targeting thing, and it will have been fixed with the Zealot. So this is just an excuse for me, the remote targeting on and create a new hole.
Yeah, they could have just
because they
added
could
that.
have done it the other way around.
Yeah,
and that was what we were sold. We were sold a generalist hole that could do the 4 targets of that year, and you only needed to change the gear, also special weapons and on armor.
Honestly,
maybe, keep doing the other targets.
I would have been happy.
to.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I finished.
I was just going to say I would have been happy with a simple special that was limited to generalist class. That when you put it on there, it gave remote targeting to mortars, missiles, whatever we needed it for the new raid coming up.
Brilliant idea, but they probably couldn't make it work in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem is the generalist is not a generalist. It's just a B-level hull for that raid cycle, is what they've turned it into.
Which in that case, why should we even build the icebreakers when this will be another B-level hull?
Well, because this is another mistake on the way that Kickside has developed. Because it's not more expensive than last. It's the most expensive one we have already had. Because if you look at it, you are going to build a single fleet for 1 month.
Or the icebreaker just tears up the FM, and you're just autoing the FM at this point if you have a fleet of icebreakers.
Yeah, but that is a big if. We have to see, because we can see that the Tideseeker was a success, but the Ironclad was, I think, has been the worst crap thing we have got in our minds, because it's only good doing on all targets. In the new targets, it's not doing that good.
Pretty much.
But the thing is look, the nature of the garrison style targets, right? If this has the resistances and stuff, so it'll actually do well, it's, I think, going to perform as well as the Tideseeker, right? So I'm looking beyond just the next raid. I mean, I'm building them mainly to do my FM, because if I got an option to auto the damn thing and repair it overnight, you got 3 days for the FM? Hell, sign me up. The problem I have is just the way that the pricing has been done for this.
Yeah,
but if you want to do auto, I'm not going to say don't do auto, but the price of the cost for you doing auto, that everybody has to build a full fleet for 1 month, I think is too expensive.
I don't think
why for 1 month? Why are you talking about 1 month?
Might be for a year.
Because once you see the cost that is going to be for you to auto these targets, you probably and if you see that with the skillful, you do. That's a big if, because we don't know exactly what is a skillful hole inside of a garrison target.
You're talking about the raid, Tito. I said I'm looking beyond the raid to the FM, because the next raid set is going to dictate what our FM is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So but you have to do the FM first. So you have to do the raid first,
right? I already got
the my concern at the moment is the raid. The FM, if you have tuned up your fleet for doing the raid perfectly well, is going to do perfectly well the FM.
Here's my problem with all this. Okay, this is what scares me the most right now. Okay, because I'm doing exactly what George is doing. I'm gonna have a full fleet of the icebreakers, hands down. I mean, I'm going to build it. But here's the problem I'm looking at. Kixeye has a problem balancing. They always have. You know, they have this issue with balancing things out. You know, they brought out the Tideseekers after the Hellwraith, and the Tideseekers were supposed to be the second, you know, level hull. They weren't supposed to be able to be the best hull, and yet the Tideseekers turned out to be the best. They outshined the Hellwraiths. You know, but then this raid series, you know, the Ironclads were supposed to be the the A set, and the Cannoneers were supposed to be the S set. You aren't autoing A sets with the Ironclads. Balance is way off again. You know what I mean? The Ironclads really are not what they were promoted to be. And now they're turning around. This time they're trying by giving us the second tier hull, and they're going to bring out the skill hull in a TLC, which we already know from Doom, sometime between these two raids. All right? So it's not right. Either the skill hull is going to be junk, or the icebreaker is going to be junk. And that's what scares me the most, is that I'm going to build this full fleet, and then they're going to bring out the skill hull, and it's just going to make, they're going to base the entire raid around the skill hull and make this. That's
an actual really good point, because we were told that the premium prices that we're paying a month ahead of time were to make our raids easier and simpler, right? Because we're paying the premium price to get this stuff, and instead we're seeing that these targets are being tuned to the early release that only a couple thousand people are getting. I mean, honestly, the first Cannoneer one, that was not tuned. That was not tuned to the Ironclad. That was not tuned to the Centurion. That was not tuned to anything but the Cannoneer.
But guys,
that was bad.
Jim told me that it wouldn't be to Millennium Cannoneers. He told me.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't even to the Cannoneers.
The tuning is going to be an issue. The tuning is going to be a very, very big issue. That's a very good point.
Well, their tuning is completely and totally fucked. Like 60% rocket range, and someone thought that was okay for a non-zero. Like, I had a 10-hour day, came back in like a crazed stupor, and then remembered that the Dragonfire rocket existed and was like, "Hey guys, does that say 60%? That's dumb." No, bad.
I gotta give Hefe credit for that, because the minute that it hit the forums, like I don't even know if it was more than a minute, I got a message going, "Dude, what the hell?" And I'm driving and I'm going, "I don't know. What do you mean, dude? What do you mean? Give me an example, because I have to visualize it, right?" And I'm driving, trying to figure this crap out. But yeah, I think he was the first one that pegged that 60%.
Well, there's also speaking of tuning, there's also a huge disconnect between so the price that we have to pay is not worth the incremental gain that we should get. On one hand, we're spending 120 million to get the new hull and all its bits, because we have to buy the generalist stuff first, which is better than the current tier 5 garrison stuff, again, which shouldn't happen, you idiots. Anyways, so not only that, we have to buy all these armors, which I have a separate tinfoil hat theory about, but we have to buy this stuff, and there's a good chance that, again, either the skill hull is far better than this, or this hull is just going to be too bad. But when you look at how they changed the tiers, I think that this will be necessary to do A-sets in the upcoming raid. The Icebreaker will be necessary, and its bits, because I did the math, and the DPS on that, it was like 2.5 times the other stuff that we had, something insane like that. And I did that math similarly when we got the Cannoneers, like how the Mauser was 4/3 as strong as our current best, and the Millennium was double that. The Mauser wasn't even the best weapon. The gap in relative power between tier 5 and tier 6, or tier 4 and tier 5, is huge now that they've started actually making it with this tier system in mind. Back last year, they were doing great with power creep. I was doing all the numbers, and they were fine. They were situational. They were, yes, this is a little better, but you get this other thing instead. And now that's gone all to hell. They've thrown it all away. They're doing terrible right now. The power creep is such that you have to build the best of the best to even keep up, and you won't have time to build the best of the best, because the skill hull is going to be released later on. We'll be out all that time. You have to coin it to build it. You have to coin it to rank it. And if you don't, you'll be stuck with citadels. And as has been proven with this past raid cycle, Sense and their flagship, the tier -1, plus the flagship, hasn't been good enough. What if Sits and Harlocks that aren't good enough? there's going to be riots in the streets. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, also charged armors.
Hey guys, good thing we got that second.
Brian, do you need my tinfoil hat, buddy?
I'm going to need it because
Brian's about to throw a fucking table, man. Just get ready.
My theory on the charged armors. So they reduce a large amount before you get to resists, so that the number when you get to resists and deflection is going to be very low. Therefore, not only can they make it an excuse to drive the damage up real high, ideally they'd make a lower salvo and longer reload time so that our 50 shots would last longer, but they make it such that you can basically ignore 50 hits. Now,
hold on, did Brian break his camera, because like his feed just completely went?
I don't know about that. I might have broken my vocal cords.
No, his feed's still going on YouTube. It's not going on Hangout.
Oh, okay.
It's not showing up on Hangout, but he is showing up on YouTube.
I'm showing up here. I see myself in the corner. Okay, good. So
yeah, I can see him.
Okay, good. So charged armors, they reduce a lot of damage. They make it so that resists aren't really as necessary as you might think. And we tend to not put resists on our backline ships because ideally they wouldn't get hit. But these armors will help out with that. And there's 4 armor slots on the icebreakers, and I think 4 on the Empyrean as well. And there's 20 armors to get. So in a fleet of 5, you're likely to have 20 armor slots. 10 armors of each type. Coincidence? Doubt it. So what I think is there's going to be something like the arc missile from the 102s now, I think, where it's going to have priority targeting as well and aim at your back line, such that if you don't have these armors, you're going to get deleted by this super strong missile. And there's going to be mortars that have priority targeting as well, so that they're going to shoot in your back line.
If you just gave them an idea, Brian, I'm going to fly out there and beat the ever-loving crap out of you.
Brian, I got a completely different theory on what they're going to do.
After all the ideas you give them, you're going down to...
I don't give them. Hold on a minute. I don't give them any ideas. I just break their shit. There's a difference.
Yeah, you break their shit before the rest of us can on the preview, and then they change it.
I wanted to add on something to what Brian said. The other thing I'm curious about is we noticed with the new hulls that they all have very high field resistances. The other, and one of the aspects of a lot of the fields is lowering of defense resistances. So if you have this armor on there, maybe that lowered resistance is not going to occur.
Yeah. Won't matter so much. I get it.
Yeah. Here's what my theory is. Okay, they're gonna put the weapons in this new assault target. Okay, and it's gonna be real simple. They're gonna make them do 11, 12,000 points of damage per hit, and they're gonna be 100% defense bypass. That's what I think is gonna happen. To where if you don't have these armors, you're gonna get chewed up so fast.
No, I don't think they're gonna do that because I don't think they're gonna do that because it's just the there's a reason why it stacks before your resistances. I do like Hefe's idea though, because that seems just complex enough that they would actually try it.
And then they can complain that they don't know what we're talking about.
George, don't say that they tried something complex. I'm getting nightmares.
They tried something simple, like the TLC for the Oppressor that they've always done, where it's run through 5 mastery, and they screwed that up. They've been doing that for years.
But I'm sick of them bringing these holes out in mastery campaigns right now. That's just ridiculous. If you want to put a mastery TLC out, then you need to pin it to our freaking base and let us do it at our leisure. If it's a regular time limited campaign, then it needs to be just like the old time limited campaigns. You got a week, you got a mastery round. When you complete the mastery round, the blueprint's yours, and you can build as much as you freaking want.
I can be more pain in the ass than Brian. What if the new skill hall is a mastery?
Yeah, that was my thought. I was just about to say, because next week we'll get our, it's our third Bloodthirst Rivals Hull TLC, and we get a TLC for the new hull, so that's 10 mastery rounds of whatever the hell, and FM, and VXP weekend, and everybody flips the table.
You're going to end this show in one of those doors, man. If you give them more ideas.
No, you know what'll happen if they
I will mysteriously disappear one day.
Brian, do you know what will happen if they pull a stunt like that?
Everybody flips the table and leaves?
I mean, look at it now. You've already got so many of the coiners pulling their hair out and talking about walking away from the game because of the crap Kicksai's doing.
Yeah, and
they've already pissed off. They pissed off their pocketbooks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if they come out and pull another stunt like they've been pulling, you know, they're gonna have a lot of coiners that are gonna be super pissed off if the skill hole comes out on Thursday. And it's a mastery campaign on top of that, the day before VXP weekend, that's going to already flip the table on most of the heavy coiners.
Yeah.
If they drop the new PvP hold on top of that,
not even just the heavy coiners, man. It's not even going to be just the heavy coiners. If the new skill hull comes out on Thursday, oh my god, that is not.
If the new skill hull comes out,
isn't that the day that VXP starts too? Right? Or
no,
is it Friday?
Friday.
That's Friday. So the day before, yeah, that's horrible. That would be
you better have nothing to do on Thursday. You better not have a job.
Yeah, but the problem, George, with the way they have done it is that it doesn't matter when they release it. It's going to be horrible anyway. Because they have to bring it with enough tokens so you can build the ships, or you will have a lot of people not even able to have that. And if they tune up for the skillful one, we are.
They need repair tokens.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with the TLCs. Right, I had TLC burnout when they had like the 4 of them on that week, and I only did the one for the the Liberator or whatever the hell it was, or the Oppressor. I mean, I don't mind the TLC. Like, I didn't mind having that there. I don't like being inundated with all this crap and then having that pressure of you got to get it done. You know, because it would be a compound release on Thursday because you'd have to get it done in a day and then get them, you know, built if you could, and then get them out by Friday and then coin to rank them. I mean, that's the kind of pressure that the player base kicks back on.
And I think they increase the pressure by not letting us know the path forward. You know, once the work in progress disappeared, okay, this is going to do something that I need in the game because we don't know what's going to happen in the near future.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If they had came out before the raid and said, okay, look, here's what we're doing. The Sega tier hole's in the raid, 120 million points. This is the auto hole, okay? It's supposed to auto the next set. But on the Thursday afterwards, if they told us this, on the Thursday afterwards, we're going to release the skill hole in a TLC. Then players would have that choice. Do I want to take the gamble? Do I want to go ahead and chase the icebreaker? Or do I want to take the gamble that the skill hole is going to be the go-to hole? And they could have played that card. You know what I mean? They could have gone either way. They would have been able to formulate a plan of attack on what they wanted to do. But by not giving us any information, Kicksai is expecting us to build the icebreaker fleet and the new fleet because, you know, you don't know which one's going to be the one you got to have to be able to be on top in the raid.
And it runs that you know that they are not going to ever say that to you because they are great and they want you to coin both.
Well,
and if they tell you that after the icebreaker raid this we are having now, next Thursday you're getting the skillful hold, you say, you know what? Once I get all the armor, I don't need to get even the icebreaker. I just can keep it there if I am not interested.
And they could also just make an honest mistake because we know that they're not the best players, they're not the best theory crafters, and sometimes things work unexpectedly even for them. So even if they say that the icebreaker is better than the skill hole, if you do this, this, and this, maybe one of those thises doesn't work, and the skill hole ends up being better. But we shouldn't have to build 2 full fleets.
And here is a good point from somebody from the chat, Venom Hurricane Games. We all are saying that this new hull, well, it, as Brian said, it has 2 times more DPS than the old ones, but we are all talking about this resistance to the fields and such. Also, this cannoneer got with a huge stun resistance, and at the end, we are hitting the S target. And what is the stun resistance important in the S set? Because I haven't seen a single EMP on those targets.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I only ever get stunned if I'm super greedy on a 75. Like, I have actually goofed really hard on a 75 and get stunned. But even then, it doesn't really matter. Like, I get stunned, but I get out before I get hit.
Hey, guys, just a quick question. Field resistance.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was a field just simply lowering reload? I mean, the DPS on the rockets would be pretty fine, but anything else would honestly get fucked.
I think that's why they might not do it. Like, they're already. A lot of the mortars themselves have long reload times initially, anyways, and so do some of the rockets as well. To lower the effectiveness would kind of artificially increase the amount of VXP required. And the thing is, there's 36 hours of good VXP to get, cough cough, but that hull is 3 hours. A fleet of them is 12 hours. If you are like on
15.
the clock, 15. Oh, right.
Brian.
Thank you. I'm building 4.
That's the other thing. Well, a lot of us are building 4 of them with.
There's going to be 80.
Yeah, we're expecting a flagship, and we don't know when that's coming. Is that coming in part of the TLC? Is that coming in the raid? I mean,
That's the second TLC for the week after we get the skill hole at the mastery level with the other rivals, bloodthirst, and the this and the that, and my head exploded.
This game is called Battle Pirates or Battle TLC because, man, I think we have to change the name.
a little direction would help, I think, immensely in some of this stuff. I mean, and the thing is too is this next raid set is going to be is a lot more important than any of the other ones that we have during the year because it transitions into RFM, and that is something that we all know that's the cornerstone of the game now. I mean, everybody is on the same page about that.
Yeah.
If you can't do the FM, you're not really going to be able to participate well.
Yeah, if you can't do the FM, you might as well just quit the game.
So, I think in particular in this format coming up and this raid, we should have had some direction so we knew what was going on, because now it's a gamble on the builds, it's a gamble on what you're going to need, it's a gamble on a lot of stuff, and it's going to affect us for probably the most important part of the game for the next year.
Yeah, and also not knowing what's coming ahead in the FMs or the TLCs impacts more than what we're talking about as far as just what the next raid cycle is going to be. Because I'm assuming we're going to get a new mortar in that TLC as well. And I'm just building my oppressors blank because I don't want to pay the penalty to take them back off or waste the shipyard time building it. But if we knew, okay, there's another mortar coming out, or there's not another mortar coming out, if we knew there wasn't one, I would go ahead and build it. I'm not sure about the people that coin hauls are you less likely to coin hauls because you don't know what's coming around the corner and you feel like you've wasted your money on it? Or are you just getting there for that quick advantage of having that haul ahead of everybody else and before they've had a chance to transition their base or whatnot against it?
People are generally risk averse in the absence of anything else, and considering how frequently things are changing with regard to the things that we're getting, see again rocket range on Icebreaker, see again the charged armor, well, now it's not working. I would be hesitant to spend money on something that either A, probably doesn't work, or B, might be obsolete quite quickly and I won't know when. We still don't even know what the heavy weapon slot for the Empyrean is meant to hold.
Yeah, that one's weird. I mean, it's at least with 145 prizes or however many are out there, I can't believe that there's not an appropriate heavy weapon for that.
Well, I mean, it's either there are options now to take advantage of certain things of heavy weapons that we have, right? Or, I mean, they might actually be having it so they can tune later on. I mean, there's I don't know. It's either I could see that, or I could see them maybe popping out. I mean, I don't know. I don't want another generalist, so maybe they're trying to not come out with 17 of the bloody things. Or there could be a heavy mortar coming. I mean, or it could be something that's like a special, like we have. We used to have the damn it, what do you call it? Tactical thingamabobs, right? Maybe they have a weapon.
But the tacticals go to different slots.
I understand that. I said like, not is.
Yeah.
Like they might have something
So,
coming
what
up
you
that has
meaning
a
we are
buff
going to have
that you
to
want
defend the armor.
on that hull. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
combat speed or whatnot.
Yes.
Or I would like to see, would be interesting, is a heavy countermeasure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was-
that would be
Yeah,
interesting.
like
Dual.
Gatling gun Gale 3.
No, hey, if they're doing a heavy countermeasure, I want to see it be able to shoot down mortars and missiles at the same time.
And rockets.
Rockets, please. We can use everything else for mortars and missiles. Make this one like the God Trident.
Yes. And the I just
Making
posted
a trident
in,
actually worth using.
I just posted in YouTube chat the link in case anybody would like to join us. And don't worry if we fill up, just let us know if we filled up, and I can always kick out 9s to make room for you. Okay, go ahead.
Just give it about 5 more minutes and Brian might explode.
I think I'm in the refractory period after that giant tinfoil hat thing about the charged armors.
That's hilarious. The refractor.
You know what? You know, though, with the icebreakers,
Thank
something
you,
that I'm
George.
concerned about, George. One of the things that I'm concerned about with the icebreakers, they took the range back down on the rocket, and I was completely understood that. I completely understood dropping that 60 because that would have been way OP'd. That was just stupid to start.
Yep.
All right. But now they've dropped the range down to an 88, and we're going into assault targets. And I have not yet seen an assault target in this game that does not have all of its weapons running between 120 and 150 range.
Garrison, but yes.
Or garrison, yeah. So we're going to be getting – this hole's going to get pounded on just to be able to get into fire range.
Yep. But it also has some really high resistances on top of, you know, those armors if we can get the bloody 200 million for them.
Yeah, but the problem is, what about any other tank that we'll be using? If we do not get that ship, will our other tanks even make it to the actual fucking target?
I don't think so. I honestly don't.
Yeah, but no,
Again,
here's the
this
other
goes
thing.
back to what we were discussing before about how that tuning for the first raid has not been ideal.
And here's the other thing, though, George. Look at the resistances we have on our fleets right now. We've got high resistances, high deflection running on our cannoneers. Yet if they get hit, they melt.
See, also
Yeah.
ironclad with full bloodthirst.
And now they're giving us a hole that we know is going to get pounded on before it can even reach the target.
It's so weird because back when they first started, they're like, yeah, 90% resists are going to be ideal, except they're not. And even with like 99% resist and 400 deflection, you're still taking tons of damage with an ironclad in an A set. And the flagship for that doesn't even help that. And now we have this that in the raid video it showed it 80% resist, but now it only shows 60. Even with it was like what 92 point something percent resist with one of these with a CX3 and a siege battery style against turrets. Like, even with 600 siege deflection, like I don't think that's going to be as good as we might like. And
It has that stacking bonus now, where it
Yeah.
didn't have it before.
and that's okay, but I feel like that's just a grab to make
Stopgap.
us. Yeah, no, it's to
Well,
make us.
no,
bad.
here's the
Stacking bonus
problem.
now, George,
Here's the stacking
forces you
bonus.
to have
The
more than
stacking
one.
bonus. The stacking bonus is great if you had the option to drive without being hit. But right now, with the way the current targets are running in the game, every time you take a hit, you lose a ship. So how fast is that stacking bonus going to disappear when you start losing your holes?
But we're not facing the same targets either. I mean, we're talking about something that's supposed to replace the FM. It's going to be Garrison, and the targets have to accommodate the Citadel at least in the C sets and possibly.
Oh, and
Well, wait. Weren't they supposed
think
to
there are two
accommodate the Centurions in the C sets this raid?
Oh,
There you go. Who did that? That was perfect.
I mean, look at the way Kicksai's running the game right now. I don't think the Citadels are going to be able to scratch the paint on a target in the next raid.
No,
You know what I thought
I would
was
not.
so
I would not
funny?
rely on Citadels, but I also think that they're learning very slowly that you have to have some sort of engagement with the players. So, they might tune the S sets and the A sets to us, but I can't see them really screwing the C sets, not on something this important.
Oh, by the way,
I like your optimism there, George. I like
we are
your
talking about
optimism.
side about vampires, or we changed the subject, and I didn't know because they have been doing that for the last.
Exactly.
yeah, they've been talking to us for a
They
while.
have not kicked because your
Not
low end players, your players that are having to run the C sets are the non-coiners and the low level players. And Kixeye has not yet in the last year tuned a raid for those players. Those
Right, but
players
the
have
thing
played
that
every raid.
the thing that makes me think this is that it's the FM. I mean, these are the targets that are replacing the FM, and they themselves. And this is the thing, they don't generally come out and agree fully with us on some stuff, but they themselves have said that's the cornerstone of the damn game right now. I mean, if they know it and they acknowledge it, right, they're going to have to actually follow through with that too.
And that's the problem.
No. Wait. Here's
the most
the
important part of the
problem.
game.
Here's the problem, George. Here's the problem, okay? Kixeye logic. We always tune the targets down after the raid before we put them on the map.
And they can agree to anything they want. Doesn't mean they're going to change their damn mind about what makes money. What makes money.
The devil's advocate here is that if it's so important for everyone to do, if you make the targets a little more difficult than you would otherwise, you would be able to get some coin from people, year round. And it's to the other people's point. Yeah, they can know it and understand it, but can they actually tune the targets properly?
Can they follow through? That's the question. It is. And I'm just saying that of all of the entire year, the only raid set that really, really has more of an impact than anything else in the game is going to be the next one, right? Is because it's going to be the one that changes the FM. It's going to be the one that the FM is incorporated with. And I just, from all the stuff that they've pushed with the FM, I mean, they put the Punisher in there, they put the Citadel in there. They're actually looking at that more, I think, than anything else in terms of whether or not the players are upset, right? Because they sure as hell didn't care about the 57s getting changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think the FM is one of those areas that they know. I mean, they know that can make or break them. It really can. If you have enough people that can't do the FM, you just signed the death warrant of the damn game.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
I
really am thinking that the C sets really are going to be able to be done with Citadels. That's why they're in there. I think the C sets are going to be tuned, hopefully, properly in our eyes, not their eyes. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Venom. Welcome to the show. Did you have anything particular, or you just showed up so you can mute nines when you want to?
I was just going to make another point further on that free mission. The way they product the Centurions and the Citadels into the current free mission at such a low price would make you sort of believe that that's going to be the low end of the free mission, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, it's the floor.
Yeah, it's going to be the bare minimum you can get away with for the next free mission by the looks of it.
And I think that can be a bit of a problem too, because they have this, the tier system, and there's numbers, and ideally you match the tier number to the target you're hitting. That is to say, stop trying to hit S sets with ironclads and complaining. That's your fault. You are an idiot.
Yeah, and look, I mean, there's videos, there's step-by-step directions now on how to do the 107.
Well, yeah, that's what Kenny is, but I've seen people complain all over about why can't my ironclads do hundreds? They're not supposed to. But
oh no! The stupidest one I've seen so far. The stupidest one I've seen so far is a guy went on forums and did this big long ass complaint on forums about how his Tide Seekers died in the targets.
Oh Lord!
Oh, these ones.
Oh, I saw that one.
This new raid.
New raid. He complained his Tide Seekers could not even get to a turret before they were killed.
Real. That can't be real.
Yeah.
That cannot be real.
That's accurate. They will die before they get to a turret.
Oh, goodness.
Oh boy. So I'm worried that if you make the Punisher and Citadel the floor, that you're undermining the Berserkers and the Nova
Novas.
Storms. Like, those should be able to do it as well. Like, Citadel should be able to do the tier 4, the B sets, really well. And yes, I understand that a lot of new players have gotten Citadels and Punisher and have built them. That's fine. That's good. That means more players will get more points. They'll be able to start clawing up the tech tree instead of maybe having to ask for work or being sad and going and doing, campaigns during their raid or doing something else.
On the Berserkers and all, for someone who came back after about a year out, going into the free mission was crazy because the ships that we had back a year ago, they're just nowhere near powerful enough to go through the free mission.
Yes,
so things like the Berserker, you're looking at Kixai's point of view of we don't really need these anymore. They're really old and obsolete. A bit like how at the start of the game you would have loved to have the research ships, but you don't use them anymore. In the same way, Kixai are probably looking to get rid of all them old ships now.
Well, the thing is, honestly, I still think with proper driving and everything, I think I'm going to at least possibly do B sets with Nova Storms. If they work out in power like I think they are.
Well, why would you think Nova Storms are going to have a place after they've released the Punisher at level 1 and Citadel at level 2 in the FM? I don't think the Nova Storms are going to have a role personally, but I could be wrong. But I mean, just considering
the fact
the technology you get at this time.
After you saw how the Centurion that was doing the mine so perfectly well was useless in this raid because it was so expensive to use it. You have any expectation of using any of those? And besides, get in mind, we are getting 2-3 holes each month, and we are telling them that our docks are full. Do you think that they are going to make anything? So your old ships, you still keep with those instead of just scrapping because they are useless, so you can have room to build the next ones?
Hey Tito, wait a second. I got to ask you a question, buddy. What game are you playing that you only got 2 to 3 holes this last month?
Yeah, I think we've had like 11.
No, I said I want to mean per basis we have 3. There are some months that we have 7 or 8. Depends on if Kixai is looking at the moon when he's deciding. If it was, if Mars is in conjunction with the moon or is conjunction with Gemini's, depends on how it goes.
Yeah,
but I think honestly, at this time there is no roadmap, there is no compass, and there is nothing.
Yeah, hey, I want to mention something on the Berserker, right? Because there are Berserker tokens in this raid, right? The one thing that you might want to look at is on the Berserker, doesn't building damage get buffed heavily when it's at R10?
I got Foundry up here. I'll check now.
Because I'm looking at Huggies, and the building damage is doubled of the Citadel and the Nova Storm.
Yeah, it gets an R10 boost.
I mean, it could work, but today, as far as older garrison halls than the Citadel, I had somebody in sector chat or in comms ask for a build for his Citadels, and he didn't even have Engine 3 research yet. So we're getting just babies with the Citadels. So I'm just not sure that the older halls will do any. They're even in their plans because they gave them away to anybody that could get what? How many FM?
2.
Yeah.
True, but how many of the people that got them for the first time in Tier 1 and Tier 2 actually have them built now?
That better be their priority. Hell.
True, but the thing is, how many can we say for sure actually have them built that do not have someone like guiding them along or watching the shows or stuff like that. And also, is if the people were not even able to do that. I know some people in the sector, until we helped out, they were not even able to get tier 1 and 2 without grinding 2 or 3 days.
That is true, but here's the problem with that. Kickside don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't build it, that's your problem, not Kicksite's problem as far as they're concerned. They're still going to base the rate off around the tech they want to base it around. And I think Citadels are going to be the tier 3 tech. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they're going to be tier 3. It's that simple. Either if you got Citadels, then you're going to be able to do tier 3. For the whole whopping if you're over level 80, 2,000 points you can get out of it. If you're under level 80, then 50,000 points.
Mm-hmm. And what sucks is, I mean, no offense, since I know I'm the younger player on the panel right here, but honestly, the dock space thing right now, it mostly affects the players that have been playing for over 2 or 3 years that actually have had the time and leads. For guys like me, 60 ships, not even half my dock space used up.
Yeah, but here with the rate they're releasing stuff right now, it will not take long for you to be filled up.
True.
Right. I mean, the math is there.
But it doesn't mean I have to, for example, build every single ship that comes out.
No, it does not.
No, but you've got to make a choice.
But then you find yourself screw up. This time.
I mean, when it comes to PvE, when it comes to PvE tech, you have to build it. I'm sorry, if you have to build it, because there's always that off chance that what you choose not to build is what's going to absolutely be your downfall in this game.
If I could just
we don't know. We don't know. We can't skip a PvE hole because we don't know. That's the problem.
But the other aspect of this too that isn't brought up a lot is that, look, it's a game. It's the game that I am playing, and if I want to say the Icebreaker does really well in the future FM, right? And I want to have 2 sets so I can do my FM real quick. Why would you want to impact my PvP ability because I'm taking care of PvE?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Could I just make one more point before I head off here? Kixeye, in theory, all I have to do is increase your storage capacity. When you go to the dock, just hit storage, store your ship. You've got 120 spaces in there.
15, I think.
When you go to storage in your dock, it's saying there for me 120 at the very top for your dock, and then 20 spaces in storage. So all I have to do is increase that storage capacity and say there's your fix, and that'll keep them covered. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is a lot of older players are very paranoid about using the storage because they've lost hulls going into storage. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's been a bug since they released the storage thing. You're running a chance. It's like rolling dice. Every time you drop a ship into that storage bin, there's a good chance you could lose it. And if you lose it, then you got to fight tooth and nail with Kixeye. And if you didn't take a picture of the hole before you put it into storage to prove that you had it built, chances are you're not getting it back.
Yeah. Sorry, but if you lose an old Hellwraith or an old Seawolf fleet or something like that, honestly, anymore?
That's not the point.
Putting it in storage for a reason.
That's not the point, man.
You don't understand the point. The point is that he's saying increase the storage so you can put your new ships that you're not using at this moment. But those are not going to be Seawolves. Those are going to be your Citadels, for example, because you have the Icebreakers or something on that line. Are you willing, nice, to lose your Hardlock Citadel a third time?
I think
I'm gonna say straight. Yeah, exactly. But
Tito got it.
I don't care. If I put a freaking battle barge in storage and it disappears, I'm gonna be pissed. I would never use a freaking battle barge in the game. But the bottom line is, if I spent my time, my money building a ship and I put it in the storage unit and it disappears, then Kickside needs to give me my ship back because I spent that time and money building it.
Yeah, and they will. They will. I've had the issue with it where I've had ships just go poof, but I've known people that did not get their ships back.
If you have it, you are going to lose them.
Exactly.
And
Kickside will say, "Well, do you have send us a picture to prove that you built it?"
I will never use storage because it could hose the hell out of me.
Yeah, and the problem with just increasing general dock space, it could be an artifact of the game from a while ago. The reason they originally did it because most of our hulls relative to today were basically generalist. You could do anything with them, as opposed to right now where every hull pretty much is a specialist, even if they call it a generalist. But the issue was the fact that if you had unlimited dock space, you could just start building all these ships and show up at the raid and just kill them off. And yeah, just spam, I got 400 ships to kill, and then just spend the next 3 weeks repairing them. And that's the reason that they limited it to begin with, to prevent that. But at this point in time, I'm not sure that that's relevant anymore because, back in the day, you could pretty much use all your ships in the raid, not, one or two different hulls that you've built recently. So it may just be an artifact of that, why they're not just increasing the dock space across the board. And it's just a rule that's been in there for so long that they just keep it there. Sort of like, that they're going to charge you an arm and a leg to upgrade more than one wall at a time. That's, there's certain things that have just like, we have it there for a reason, but we sort of forget why it's there.
We have a guy in Sector that still calls the raids his way to upgrade his walls because he'll never get enough resources outside of raids.
Well, he's just sort of dim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's a 3 mil ID, though.
Well, and a level 45.
No. He's higher level than me.
Okay.
He's a 3 million ID, and he can't get resources to build walls.
Did he finish Snowfall all the way through?
Probably.
Yes.
Oh,
I already talked to him about that.
This time, for example, you
But
you can
send it. It don't matter. Roll you some freaking crews, and just send out your regular fleets on auto against freaking cargoes.
Or go hit 57s. You can load up quick on Riva targets.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. Res is one of the easiest things in this game to get. I mean, absolutely, it is. No
I
cost,
don't even fill up anymore.
no skill.
I fill up to 200 million, and then by the time I'm done with my FM or I'm done with getting uranium or something like that, I'm full back up.
Yeah, I mean, so if someone's saying they can't get res to do walls, they need to be taken aside and have someone explain to them how to play the game. I'm sorry. That's just my theory on this because apparently they're not doing something right.
You're a mean prick.
Than me, I would have said shoot their computer and not let them back on.
Yeah, I heard take them aside, and I mentally replaced it with take them out behind the shed.
Pretty much.
Oh, George, you got to wait until I have to talk to you in the after show. I sent him a ticket to Kickside showing them something, and it's gonna blow your mind when I tell you what it is.
Can we go to the after show real quick?
The clickbait after show strats.
Nice.
Oh my.
Too hot for the regular show, and the show has gotten pretty heated already.
Yes. Well, speaking of which, is there anything that anybody should know as far as, I guess George has his step-by-step detailed instructions of how to do the 107 on the Forsaken Cove. Has anybody tried it with less than, I know Nines, somebody maybe in Nines' situation where he doesn't have a full fleet of cannoneers.
Even if you don't have
also
full,
my internet's an issue too. That's why I don't.
if you got 4 cannoneers, you don't even have to have the flagship. If you got 4 cannoneers, you can follow the pattern that's being shown in the videos to do the 107s for free.
Can you do it with just 4 without the Harlock?
Just 4, yep.
I didn't think the DPS was
it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the firepower. It has to do with the speed. You've just got to be able to make it to the target. I know a guy in my sector that's using. He does not have the flagship. He's using just 4 cannoneers built with the Millennium guns, and the 4 cannoneers are giving him enough of a speed boost that he's able to make it. Yep, with a crew that he's able to make it from turret to turret and do the target using the pattern that everybody's using without taking damage.
Oh my!
Now, he cannot do the 100s.
What crew is he?
He's using the creeping death to get the bonus on his damage. I can do the 107s. I've been doing the 107s without a crew. If you got a full fleet, you do not need a crew to do it.
I haven't been.
If you're missing one ship, you can substitute a crew. The creeping death. You don't even need the 3-star, just a creeping death. It gives you the firepower you need. You've got the speed. You can do the target. Now the 100's a different ball. I haven't seen anybody with a smaller fleet be able to pull off the 100s without taking massive damage.
Like I said, it's just my internet. I'm supposed to be getting a 1.5 meg, and I've got half of that.
Okay.
I have half of your half, and I can do it.
Okay, Venom is back. He's still in the chat. He didn't have to leave the show. I mean, again, once we get 10, we can just bump 9s. But
and we've only got 6.
Can we bump him now?
Well, you know.
Well, now see, Venom is sitting there saying he tried the 107 with just 3 cannoneers and almost made it. Just wasn't quite fast enough.
Huh.
And that's just with 3 cannoneers. The 107 is doable as long as you got the right tech. And if you're short a ship, use a crew. It makes the difference.
And
I just added that in.
Is it remote raiders? 30% combat speed?
Yes.
Yeah.
That should do. Probably not fearless.
I'll try it later tonight before I go to bed. That way, if I fuck up.
Good idea, because that.
Okay.
You have what, 4? That's like 6
Somebody
and a
mute
half
me.
hours then.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be 9s.
That's nice.
Okay, 9s. I had a very important point until, but what I was going to say, in addition to remote raiders, what is the silent?
Silent hunters.
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah, silent hunters. You get 10%, and that's a fairly easy one to get.
Yep.
And that might potentially provide you the speed if you were close there, Venom. That's an easy crew, and that 10% might get you there in time. So.
That's interesting.
Because those things go down really fast. So
well,
yeah,
I'm more concerned about that one launcher as you're coming back up on the left-hand side there. That one always seems to give people a whole lot of problems. And I kill it, but I have a full set. You know.
Well, all the long-range turrets are easy kills as long as you can reach them before they fire on you. They don't have the higher armor. It's the short-range turrets that have the higher armor. And if you've already taken if you follow the pattern right, you take all the long-range turrets out first, then circle back around to get the short-range ones. And all you got to do is just stop and sit there and pound on them.
I might have to try it with full cannoneers tonight before I go to bed. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh, he said that he tried. Venom said that he tried with a Grease Monkey crew with a damaged fleet that gives you 20%, and but that doesn't
only the ship that's damaged. That's the problem with the Grease Monkey.
Don't do that. That's bad.
Yeah, and the other issue is how much of a boost does each individual ship give you? It's 15%.
It's random because doesn't the Grease Monkey boost by damage done to the ship?
Yeah, it's based on damage. Yeah, it's based on
Yeah.
So the more damage the ship has, the more benefit it gets from the Grease Monkey, each individual hull.
And a lot of that damage.
Dead ship.
And a lot of the damage in these targets is splash, but there's plenty that isn't. There's a long-range ballistic and maybe some close-range things as well. And if any one shot is off, then that ship is at risk of lagging behind and being hit by a giant launch turret if you're not in a 107. So just please don't use Grease Monkeys for the actual in-combat benefits. But half repair is great.
But you were right, El Jefe. Each cannoneer gives a 15% speed boost. So you lose one cannoneer, you lose 15%. So in theory, if you're using remote raiders, you can drop 2 cannoneers and still have the speed to do the target.
Yeah, and that 10% on the other one might potentially be enough to close that gap. Be worth
If you lose one, right?
As long as you have the DPS.
Well, the DPS, the DPS I don't think is the issue. Like what we were talking about before. It's the speed, so it's which is sort of interesting. I wonder what else you can.
I'm gonna tell you my experience on this, all right? Because I tested this theory because I took one cannoneer into a 107, right? Just one, and it was getting pounded on. But when it made it to the first turret, the long range turret that was pounding on it, which did, it got killed by the second turret, but it had enough firepower to take out that first long range turret and start going after the second one. If it had the speed, it could have done it. Just one.
Okay.
So we have enough DPS on the holes to take out those long-range turrets. And the short-range turrets, as long as you stop in time, you can just sit in front of them and pound on them. You just got to get rid of them long-range turrets first.
So what about ballistic Apollos, George? Are you going to build those and test them out? Seems like that ought to be able to take care of this.
Ooh, this man!
Well, what I was talking in side chat over there is, if your cannoneers are dead and you guys are getting ready to go to work, zombie them up a little bit and take out as many turrets as you can, and then throw them in for a full repair.
Oh, you can use a zombie fleet. You can use a zombie cannoneer fleet to do 107s.
Yeah, but I mean, if you screw up, then you just throw them in for the full repair while you're at work. But I was thinking it might be worth $1 million, $2 million if you can do it. If not,
you can drive. Look, if you can drive, I've been watching Vengeful One from SDS7 in my sector, and he's running around with a zombied fleet of cannoneers, and he's doing both the 100s and the 107s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do 100s free if you're patient and careful around the launcher turret.
No need to gut the target. Just do it.
Yep. Never stop moving.
Yep. Well, I think we went through the 107 pretty well, and I think we found some at least things people could experiment with as far as trying to use crews and whatnot. If you're sort of undermanned with your cannoneers or whatnot. So anything else as far as anybody's thinking of as far as how you're going to build with what you have, as far as I'm not saying like what your build is, but I'm assuming everybody's just going to bust out blank halls and see how things work out with the TLCs and the FM.
It depends if I can motivate myself to points. I mean, it's going to completely depend on what I get for points.
I honestly haven't a clue what to do.
I don't think anybody does, and that's the problem.
Yeah, like at least for people that coin, they can take advantage of shortened time windows because they will be able to buy the time. I can't do that. I need some sense of planning to be able to do somewhat well.
The problem with that is, Brian, the problem with that is it's pissing the coiners off. A coiner coins because he's getting enjoyment out of the game and he wants to spend the coin. When Kixeye starts backing us into a corner and telling us we have to coin, a lot of them stop.
And then they'll get the message, sort of, but like last year was great in terms of general power creep and raids and things like that. A lot of people did well, sub raid 1 and Apollo raid 1 notwithstanding. But they kept that okay. And now that it's overload and we're kept in the dark and no one knows what to do. It's really bad.
But the problem for me, Brian, I think, is that they did well last year, but that way is not sustaining the economy or what they pretend to be their economy.
Is this way sustaining their
because-
economy? Because I don't think
No,
it is either.
But that's the problem, that they don't see what they are going to bring in the next DLC. And do you want them to see that future ahead? No, they are not able, for what it seems. And yes, they are just making the game gets into a point that more and more people is pissed.
So is this just going to be whose line where everything's made up and the points don't matter?
I don't know. I think that soon this is going to be the last one. Close the door.
I got one person to laugh. I'm happy.
So,
All right. Can I add one other thing too? Because I don't know if we've touched on it. The VXP token for the hell was it?
Pride.
Yeah, was off. It says 5,000. It's supposed to be 25,000. If you've gotten it and used it, they're supposed to be able to track it down and correct it. But just so you guys know, it's supposed to be 25,000. I don't know if they've corrected it in game yet or not, but it was listed at 5,000 when you bought it. So, FYI.
Is that fixed?
And if you guys don't care, I'm going to say one thing about VXP Weekend. Do not kill the full fucking target. I swear if I catch anyone killing a target in my sector, I'm sending Roger Bell to your house.
Not even your base, your house.
All right. What sector are you going to be in, Nines? Because I'm going to see if you're going to hold that threat true.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering why he's using someone else. Why is he using someone else not showing up himself? I mean,
Exactly. Let me know where you're at, Nines, because I'm jumping to you for VXP Weekend, buddy. I'm going to kill every one of them.
Because I'm not as annoying as some people.
oh, I think we should put a poll up on the page.
Anyway,
you just made me spit my water out. That was awesome. Put the poll up. But hold on now, Nines, are you trying to impugn Roger's, reputation and saying that he's annoying, or are you saying that you're not as annoying as the people that hit the hundreds? See if you save yourself here. I'm just saying.
Annoying as the people that hit the hundreds.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I think he's trying to coerce Roger into doing some free work at the stake of Roger's reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And you are playing with fire. No matter who that is, you're playing with fire.
Someone might come and visit him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he might get Roger Bell at his house.
Yep.
And apparently, if you're hiring someone to do your dirty work for you, then you're a little bitch, and you're going to get wrecked. So,
hey, if he comes to visit me, Brian, can I borrow your rag you use on the hookers?
Oh.
Hey, at least he knows how to kill a human. You're sending someone else for it, dude. Come on.
By the way, lag spike in 107, I got 323,000.
How much of it did you kill?
About 6 turrets or so.
Huh.
Yeah,
6
there
in
is
long
something.
ranges.
You know what? There is something I have noticed about the 107s that I haven't figured out what's causing it yet. And so I've got guys that I'm having to take screenshots so we can put them together and send them to Kixeye. But I'm leaving, I've got guys with cannoneers, so I'm going through running the prep for them, right? And I take out all the long-range turrets. I come down from the top, take out all the turrets, right? And then when I come back up from the bottom, I only take out the long-range turrets, and then I retreat out of the target because they can snipe all the short-range turrets. And they're getting different, even though I'm leaving the exact same pylons and the exact same turrets in, they are getting wildly, massively different point totals on each hit. Like one hit, the guy got 480,000 for the target. The next hit, he got 620 points. It's crazy. I haven't figured out what's causing that yet.
Huh. Okay.
Now, did you guys see that post on, I know it was on TFC, might have been on another page. Someone was saying that you can use a fully out as a tank to help clean up the 107s that have already been popped up. Has anyone tried that?
I'm sorry. What? Try what?
Supposedly, you could use a ironclad. You go in, hit 5 pylons, and get it up to full thirst, and then use it out in front of your cannoneers to clear 107s that have already been popped.
I want to make a drink called Full Thirst now. That's how. Yeah.
It's gonna be full of a lot of rum.
Well, I think they do. From what I've seen, don't the if you mess up in a 107, you're just going to basically lose your ship. I don't understand the logic behind that, Nines. As far as
supposedly the high resist on an ironclad is enough that if it's got 5 kills to its name, it can shrug off the hits long enough for you to clean up a 107.
Where did you hear this?
Well, my question is,
TFC.
with the repair time on an ironclad, why the hell would you want to do it? I'll just go find an unpopped 107.
Better than repair time on a dead cannoneer, isn't it?
You know, I'm not even going to waste it. If I go into a 107 and someone's already hit that damn thing, I just walk away from it and find another one.
Yeah, it seems extra risky for that sort of thing.
And also, do they despawn? For the people that are hitting 107s, are you running into ones that are people have failed on?
Not very often, no.
Okay, so they must be despawning them, because that was one of my fears when I saw that target. Is that by the end of the raid we're going to be left with a bunch of 107s that nobody can hit without, taking tons of damage, because all the long range ballistas are or long range ballistics are up and you can't hit them.
No, I am running into 100s that are that way. That people have gone in and gotten one of the long-range cannons activated, died, and it's still sitting popped up. But I'm not running into that into 107s.
Okay, so that's maybe they had the forethought to make them, that they'll cull them off after a period of time of inactivity, which is good.
Well, gentlemen, I need to go to work. Have a good night.
Have a good one, buddy.
Brian, don't flip a table. And Doc, polish your hat. Well, your hat. You're gonna need it next week.
Yeah, probably.
So, alrighty. Now that Nines is gone, or at least, now he's gone. Anybody else have anything they want to say, or should we go to the after show? Or Raptor, you want to come in?
I'll do a bit of counterculture. So
we can talk about Canadian things. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Okay. So it's a 6-day raid, and the points that you have to get for a lot of the stuff is really high. And it can be kind of stressful if you try to think about it and try to, divvy up your time and this and that. This is a game that you should play because you get some sort of enjoyment out of it. If you're feeling upset, or if you're sitting too long because blood clots in the leg are a thing and they can go to your heart and they can kill you. It happened to some kid playing Xbox. If you rest your eyes, rest your legs, get out, go read a book, go outside, whatever. Just don't be sitting here, for hours and hours and hours, just playing this game for God knows what you'll get out of it. Because looking back, you might be unhappy about it. Just relax and enjoy life. All things in moderation, and that includes BP.
And also, if you're worried about blood clots or whatnot, there are masseuses that will come to your house that will massage your legs while you play.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord!
God damn it!
I can't believe you just. Wow.
Isn't that true, Brian?
And on that note, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Good luck in the raid, everybody. And now that we've gotten Brian's
Jeff.
little community service, it's all wonderful.
Jeff, whatever
Wait,
whatever
what
you're
is my service
smoking,
now?
make sure
What did you just
make sure
fucking
to check the date.
All right, I've posted the link to the after show if you'd like to join us for other ideas that we like what we just presented. And good luck in the raid, everybody.